Happy Wednesday. I pray everybody's having a peaceful, positive, productive start to your day today. I'm trying out a new tea this morning. Raspberry leaf, jasmine green tea, and spearmint. I finally got me some limes, got me some lime juice in there with some honey. I made 2 glasses of it. I'm already on my second cup, so it's pretty good. If you're somebody that likes to try different tea combinations. All right. It is Wednesday, July 16th, 2025. Is 8:10 a.m. in my area. That's 4. We're not going to do 4 morning mantras. That would be a lot. I pray the angels, ancestors, spirit guides, and of course the Most High are with you today. I pray that He clothes you in His armor from head to toe, strengthens your discernment, and guides your steps as you go throughout this day. I'm the only me I've got, so I'm going to speak lovingly to myself from sunup to sunup. That means extra compliments. Hold the critical anxiety spirals. And then it has a picture of some little Post-it notes. They say, you look better than average. You sure can make a lemon square. And wow, you're good at compliments. So, your mental dialogue, speak words of kindness into yourself. You know, we talk about doing that for others, but it's also important to remember to do that for yourself. A lot of times we can be our own worst critic. I actually watched a video online before I came on that talked about that. All right, let's get a grief affirmation. Grand Rising, I hope you're having a good day so far today. It is my day off, so I've been kind of loungy this morning, slowly getting my day started. My grief matters. I don't think it's been that long since we've seen that. Oh, there's the bird telling us good morning. That's the first time I've heard her this morning. Hi there. I hope you're having a positive morning so far. Okay, now we're going to get our chakra wisdom affirmation. And then we'll get our incense lit. And we're going to do our educational moment of the day with the state cards. We haven't done that in a while. All right. I'm the only me I've got. So I'm going to speak lovingly to myself. It's been a while since we talked about it, but we do talk about it. You know, acknowledging the accomplishments that you've made. So often we get focused on the destination that we forget to acknowledge how far we've come on our journey. We actually got 2 today. Unconditional love, heart chakra, and self-sufficiency, base chakra. Let's see. I think we'll go with the base chakra. It's been a while since we burned some Nag Champa. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's what it is. It's been a while since we burned that. Okay, self-sufficiency. By finding material security without being materialistic, I will gain satisfaction, stability, and inner strength. I am resourceful. I put in the effort to be responsible for supplying fundamental needs in my life, such as shelter, food, water, and clothing. I take responsibility for where I now find myself in life as I move forward. I get in touch with and trust my innate wisdom, which tells me that I will be provided with all I need. So I'm thinking of the self-sufficiency card from the Wild Offering Oracle, but you know, knowing that not relying on material things to bring you happiness. Being able to find happiness even in the hardest of times is important. You know, a lot of times that is the test. How are you going to respond to a certain situation, whether it be stressful, emotional, you know, heartbreaking? How are you going to let it affect your life? How are you going to respond to said test? All right, and then we got unconditional love, heart chakra. I allow myself to be open to giving and receiving love without fear of rejection. I give without expecting recognition or acknowledgement in return. When I am loving to others, I am helping bring out the innate love within them so they also feel uplifted, worthy, and cared for. I love myself the way I am, not the way I was or could be, and I extend this love to others. I teach others how to love and respect me by how I love and respect myself. Loving yourself enough to stand up for yourself, to be authentically yourself and not comparing yourself to others, and also loving each other equally. You know, yes, you treat people how you want to be treated, but a lot of times people don't reciprocate that, but still acting out of kindness and, you know, trying to educate and encourage and help people grow and understand not only the world around them, but to understand themselves. You know, sometimes it takes an outside trigger, whether it's, you know, somebody coming into our life to trigger us, or us coming into somebody's life to trigger them, or, you know, it could be something that happens both ways. It takes being triggered to be able to see something, to acknowledge something, you know, an emotional trait that you have, a pattern that you need to break. You know, a lot of times the way that plays out is somebody comes into our life and mirrors that energy and allows us to see it within ourselves. We got Maryland. That's the state I was born in. MD is the abbreviation. Annapolis. I don't know if that's exactly how you say that. Annapolis. Annapolis is the capital. The state nickname is Old Line State. Wow, it got its statehood on my birthday, April 28th. Of course, not the year, 1788. The state bird is the Baltimore Oriole. The state flower is the black-eyed Susan. Wow, I harvested some of those this year. The state motto is strong deeds and gentle words. Wow. Wow. So you can be strong and gentle at the same time. You know, you can stand up for yourself, but do it in an understanding, educating kind of way. Quick facts. The United States Naval Academy is in the capital. Francis Scott Key wrote the Star Spangled Banner while watching the bombardment of Fort McHenry in Baltimore Harbor during the War of 1812. Wow. So the Star Spangled Banner was written in Maryland. And then in 1844, Samuel Morse invented the telegraph and Morse code. He sent the first telegraph message from Washington, D.C. to Baltimore. Wow, I didn't know that. A lot going on up there, huh? I was actually born on the naval base. My dad was in the Navy at that time. And so I was born technically in Bethesda, Maryland at the naval base. And from what I've been told, that's the hospital. If the president is at the White House and has to go to the hospital, that's the hospital he goes to. I don't necessarily know if that's true or not, but that's what I grew up being told. But nonetheless. All right, now we'll get affirmation from the Wild Offering Oracle. money and true love, companionship on the bottom of the deck, and health on the top of the deck. We don't normally take 4, but these are pretty quick reads, so. All right, money. All my finances are now in divine order. Love itself knows my needs and is the source for all. I needn't cling to gain or fear loss. Every need will be met through offering all to the divine. Acts of unconditional love, giving to others without expectation. True love, your wholeness. Oh, I don't think I. And then true love. Your wholeness and safety lie within, not from a partner. This sovereignty actually leads to the deepest intimacy for you to stop using others. Let me stand on my own feet, dear divine, and know true love. Self-love, going back to what we were already talking about, loving on yourself, acknowledging how far you've come. Those days that you didn't think you'd ever make it through, and here we are, we're making it through. Acknowledging that, yes, you may not be where you want to be, but at least you're not where you used to be. It wasn't that long ago that I ended up taking a little bit of time and really thinking about, I think I went like 5 years back from this time of year, each year going back 5 years, where I was at that time on those different years. And like the roller coaster ride is just crazy, but just acknowledging, what you've been through, how much you've grown, how much you've learned, how much you've accomplished, even though it may not seem like that much, like to the world. Only you know inside how much work you've really done. Nobody outside of you will ever be able to know that. Now, your angels, ancestors, spirit guides, and the Most High, of course, they know. And they're cheering us on, every day that we push forward and strive to be better than we were yesterday. All right, then we got companionship, which was on the bottom of the deck. When you fully bless and embrace your aloneness, you're ready for the ones who are meant to be with you. May I welcome this solitude, knowing it will open the way for all healthy relationships. Some of us become comfortable in our aloneness. We get past the loneliness part of it. When you can enjoy your own company is when you've made it to the point to where the people that you do allow in your company are the right kind of people. You'll no longer want to be around people that drain your energy or, require you to mask or require you to bend your boundaries. All right, then we got health. Allow me, divine, to be tender and accepting of my body no matter what ailments I may have. May I always know it's doing the best it can. Help me be a loving ally and friend to the sacred form. Making health a priority, whether that's physical health, spiritual health, mental health. Speaking of which, I'm going to take a sip of my tea without the slurping. Okay. Now we'll get into the Oracle cards. Well, actually, first we're going to pull from the Namaste deck, the Stress Less deck, and then we'll finish out the affirmations. Last time we got one thing at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself with the next 50 steps. Just have the courage to take the first step. That's a card from the Wild Offering Oracle where it says that. Don't worry yourself with the next 50 steps, because what's going to happen is when you take that first step, that first leap of faith, that first pushing through the fear, pushing through the pain, whatever that it is for you, things are going to change. Different aspects of your story are going to change as you make those small little changes. So by the time you get to that 50th step, you're going to have to rearrange everything anyways, because so much is going to change between 1 and 50. I hope that makes sense. But don't worry yourself with the next 50 steps. Just do the best you can at taking one step, and the rest, will fall into place a little bit at a time. All right, namaste, stress less. The best examples I can give right now, for me, are like with my transportation situation. I mean, my truck is literally rotting. It was 16:16 when I looked at the timer. My truck is literally sitting outside rotting away because I can't drive it. But instead of, staying angry or depressed about the situation, I do what I have to do to make it work. All right. Water your body. This exercise is about acknowledging all the parts of your body. Take a moment and relax into all parts of your body. What does your face feel like? How do your toes feel? What about your belly button? Search and seek out all the messages that all the parts of your body have to tell you. Doing this exercise is like watering a garden. Each part of the garden needs to be acknowledged and nourished. Allowing all the part of your body to tell you how they feel is a way you can acknowledge and nourish your body one part at a time. I actually watched a video not too long ago where the guy talked about that, and he was talking about how, when you wake up in the morning, before you just jump up and get out of bed, kind of lay there and move your body around and see which parts, hurt, which ones feel stiff, which ones feel good, just kind of do like a whole full body scan to see how you feel, and use that as kind of like an outline on what stretches to do that day. Okay, now we'll pull from the Affirmators deck, if I can get it out of here. Last time we got options, ultimate potential, and manifestation. Being flexible to when, and also acknowledging that, when you're walking away from certain people, places, situations, when you actually close that door, it's going to allow something new to come in. So pay attention for those opportunities. Be open to acknowledging the different options. No matter what that is, new friends, new job, new living space, whatever that is. All right. Affirmators, self-help without all the self-helpiness. We all need that encouragement to love on ourselves, to offer ourselves unconditional love. Going back to our heart chakra affirmation, I allow myself to be open to giving and receiving love without fear of rejection. No judgment, vitality. Get centered on the bottom of the deck. Engagement. Engaging with new people, new environments, no judgment for sure. Having that no judgment attitude towards yourself and others. I release myself from any and all judgments. I find my inner critic, call it into the office, and tell it to take a vacation. As it leaves the room, I let out a sigh and begin to enjoy the joy of simply being. Who hired that guy anyways? So going back to what we were talking about being your own worst critic, leave the judgment at the door. If you stay in that frame of mind, constantly judging yourself and in turn constantly judging others. That's a very negative energy. It almost compares to jealousy, and that's that's dangerous territory because it can drag you down, really. All right, and then vitality. So, confirmation on the health. I am healthy and vital and strong. My radiant love of life fills me with healthy, vital, and strong cells. Each cell is a warrior. Everyone has its own sword and shield. I dare you to try to penetrate my cellular army. Didn't think so, chum. So take once again taking care of your body, making smarter choices for physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health. You know, drinking some healthy tea instead of some kind of something that's full of sugar and whatever that is. You know, a lot of store bought juices and stuff. That's not real juice. It's a bunch of sugar and dye and syrup and a little bit of juice. All right, get centered. When it gets to be too much, whatever it is, I close my eyes and return to my center. In my center, I have the wisdom and tranquility of my favorite animal, holding a magical item, floating through space on a piece of furniture. Taking those moments to get centered, to spend time with yourself, to spend time outside, spending time doing an activity that, you know, reconnects you with that, with your inner child. You know, actually, that reminds me, I think one evening, I'm going to go live and do some diamond art. That, for me, that's a creative something that really connects me to my inner child. It's like coloring by numbers, but way more detailed. So I thought about doing that one night. We'll see. 22:33 on the timer. All right, and then we got engagement. It's an octopus and maybe a shark or some kind of fish having a picnic. So engaging with new people and new environments. Today, I make the conscious choice to engage with the world in an active way. I'll take a new route and talk to strangers. I will smell flowers and pet dogs and maybe walk around barefoot for a while. If I'm not inside a 7-Eleven, at the very least, I'll have a day that's slightly more interesting than average. And at the most, I'll have a startling epiphany or make a friend who will change my life forever. No pressure. Yeah. Embracing the little moments each and every day, you know, knowing that anything is possible, you know, but we have to get out and live life to experience those impossible moments. You know, I won't say I say it often, but we've talked about it before. You know, yes, the divine is there, our angels, ancestors, spirit guides, the Most High, they're there. But we can't just like stay in our house, in our rooms, and expect it to fall in our laps. You know, we actually have to get out and live life and experience things and interact with people and be certain places. You know, that old saying, you were at the right place at the right time. You know, well, you can't have those moments if you're always in the same place. You know what I mean? We have to push ourselves out of that comfort zone, really. Okay, now we'll pull from the Angels of Abundance. Last time we got release jealousy, abundance mindset, God is source, cooperation instead of competition, and organized for success. Kind of going back to what we were talking about before. You know, not worrying about the next 50 steps, planning out the next 5 steps. You know, make them small, realistic goals and accomplish those, which will get you closer, 5 steps closer to that ultimate goal. But if we set if we set our goals too high, sometimes it can be overwhelming, and then we end up shutting down and giving up because we feel overwhelmed. We feel like it's something that's unattainable, an unrealistic goal. Don't set unrealistic goals. Don't expect it all to happen at once. It's called the circle of life for a reason. You have to go around the circle, the wheel, which, I mean, I guess you could equal that as time. You have to be patient. You have to give it time. Right. Employment change. Ask for your needs to be met on the bottom of the deck. Block out distractions. Your career path is leading you in a higher direction with positive changes to support your dreams, priorities, passions, and life purpose. Trust that these changes will help you release the old and welcome the new. You are being supported each step of the way. Wow. So, embracing those changes. Everything happens for a reason. Change for most of the time is not easy. Especially if it's something that's challenging us, forcing us to step out of our comfort zone. A lot of times when that happens, we tend to self-sabotage because we get nervous or we don't have faith in our abilities. So it's important don't self-sabotage. Be comfortable in the uncomfortable. Get to the point to where you push yourself out of your comfort zone so often that you get comfortable with it. You get used to it. Just like anything else, the more you do it, the easier it gets. All right, ask for your needs to be met. God and the angels can come to your aid only if you make a free will choice to be helped. And it begins with asking. It doesn't matter how you ask for help, but only that you do so. The same holds true with clearly asking other people to assist you. So humble yourself, be willing to ask for help. Don't let pride stand in your way. That's something that I can very much relate to. A lot of us, we get that can-do attitude and usually that's because we've asked for help so many times and been told no, that we just get that attitude of we can do it on our own. And that's possible in a lot of areas of life, but in the main story of it all, other people have to be involved to trigger us, to help us, to teach us, to love us, to help us grow. And we are that for other people. All right, block out distractions. Your life purpose and other priorities need your undivided attention. So it's time for you to take charge of your schedule and working environment by turning off electronics and avoiding anyone or anything that distracts you from what's important. You already know what these distractions are, and you have the power to responsibly block them out. I just saw the reflection of a vehicle. Let me make sure that's not the FedEx guy here. Okay. It was my neighbors leaving. I just want to make sure. That way I can try to head the dogs off before they get barking too loud. Okay, so blocking out, walking away from, letting go of people, places, situations, mindsets, going back to that self-sabotage. If you catch yourself getting on that hamster wheel, do something to cut that cord to that thought. Try to change it, try to change your mindset. For some of us, that can be a daily task, but you have to be aware of your own thoughts and because they can bring you down really quickly if you allow it to happen, especially, going back to what it said about turning off electronics. If you're watching a lot of social media, if you're consuming a bunch of healthy or unhealthy, well, I mean, either way, if you're consuming a bunch of healthy energy and entertainment, I guess there is a difference, because sometimes, watching the right kinds of videos can really help pull you out of that. But so just being aware of what you consume, not only with your entertainment, but with your diet and with the people that you surround yourself with, the energy that you interact with. All right, now we'll pull from the angel numbers. And just a reminder, we do have 3 new decks now, so this video will probably be a little bit longer than normal. All right, last time we got 9, 29, 11, and 5. Walk away, patience, and transformation. Allow time for the transformation to happen. Be patient during the transformation. Be confident when you make the choice to walk away from people, places, things that no longer serve you. Embracing the people, places, and things that encourage your growth, that encourage positive ways of thinking. People that lift you up, not people that put you down. Constructive criticism. Being able to take constructive criticism as well as give it, but in a kind, respectful, encouraging, motivating way. Just because it's the truth doesn't mean it has to hurt. I mean, sometimes it's unavoidable. So it's important that the times that it's not unavoidable, that you can try to, give constructive criticism instead of destructive criticism. All right, angel numbers. $11.77, growth. 13.13 on the bottom of the deck, seek comfort. Didn't I see 13.13 on the timer when I was reading? I think so. And then 44.42, signs. Seek comfort. Going back to the unconditional love. Learning how to comfort yourself, how to soothe yourself. When going back to what I was saying about when you catch yourself getting on that hamster wheel, try different techniques and different activities and distractions that are healthy distractions that will encourage your growth instead of stunt your growth. 11.77. Learning, development, nature, potential, success, and expansion. Take positive steps towards learning and personal development. Engage in activities like taking a class, reading, or spending time in nature to unlock your potential and achieve success. What areas of my life could benefit from learning or growth? How can I incorporate new experiences or knowledge into my daily routine? Enroll in a course or workshop that interests you. Read a book on a topic you're passionate about. Or spend time in nature to reconnect with your inner self and stimulate personal growth. So going back to what I was talking about earlier about loving on your inner child, doing things that offer you tranquility, that bring you peace of mind, but also learning new things and implementing those new things that you're learning. Whether that's, with your diet, with your routine, with your friends, entertainment, whatever it is, expanding your knowledge. I say it here a lot, knowledge is power, but there's a difference between having the knowledge and applying the knowledge. That's 2 different things. All right, 13.13, seek comfort. Comfort, protection, assurance, support, safety, angels, and reassurance. The number 1313 brings special protection from your angels. They want you to know that you can seek comfort and safety under their watchful care as they work extra hard to shield you from any negativity. In what areas of my life do I need extra comfort and protection? And how can I seek it with the reassurance of my angels? So, where's an area that you need to give yourself a little bit more love? Have you been really hard on yourself lately? Having unrealistic expectations of yourself? Love yourself. Accept the love from the universe. Even if you're not receiving it from people around you, know that you're receiving it from your angels, ancestors, spirit guides, and of course the Most High. Take a moment to create a comforting space for yourself, whether through relaxation techniques, meditation, or connecting with a trusted friend. Remember that you are under the care of your angels. So going back to the Angels of Abundance deck, ask for your needs to be met. Seek comfort in the arms of your ancestors, of your angels, your spirit guides, the Most High. And get centered so that you can engage more freely with them. They don't judge us. When you're in the spirit realm, you look at the life here on earth a lot differently. This is what I'm seeing right now, and I see it very often. And oddly enough, the next card is signs, 4442. 36:55 on the timer when I looked. There is a scene in the movie Troy with Brad Pitt where he's with the woman he's holding captive, Mercedes, and she tells him that he's jealous of the gods. And he tells her that the gods are jealous of us because every moment could be our last. When you're in the spirit realm, you remember and you know that your soul never dies. Fear of death doesn't exist on that side. But to the gods who could never die, human's life is precious because every moment could be our last. You will never be who you are today, how old you are, how young you are. You will never get today back. And to them, that makes life more precious. So, all right, anyways, 4442, signs. Messages, guidance, intuition, awareness, signs, and abundance. Stay alert for signs and messages around you. By tuning into divine energies, you will be guided towards manifesting abundance and prosperity. What signs or messages have I been receiving lately? How can I stay more attuned to divine guidance in my daily life? Keep a journal to note any reoccurring signs or messages you encounter. Trust your intuition and let it guide your decisions, knowing that divine energies are supporting you. So, triple confirmation on the angelic support. And that makes me remember, I think it was 3 or 4 days ago, there ended up being, by the end of it, a total of 7 deer in my backyard. I posted a video. I think it's like 2 minutes long. It's not very long at all. But that was actually the last video that I made. I actually recorded 3 short little videos, but they started out in my front yard. I saw them out my bedroom window when I was getting ready for work. And so I did a short video, and then they started walking along the side, which there's obviously a side of a house there, so I can't see them. So I went to the bathroom window and I could see them in the backyard. And one by one, they kept coming out of the woods. Like, it started with 3 in the front yard. And as they started moving along, a 4th one came out. Okay, so then they migrated back there, and then one at a time, 3 more came out of the woods and joined them back there. So 7 altogether. I'm shuffling the Celestial Insights deck now. But, I mean, how often does that happen? Of course, obviously, in my area, being in the mountains, it's more likely to happen. And seeing one, maybe two, is, I won't say that it's uncommon, but usually to see a big group like that, the only time I've seen a big group like that is like driving down the side of the road, and you'll see them way off in the distance in the back of the field somewhere. But to see that many up close, like right there in my backyard, it was awesome. So noticing signs from nature, signs from divine, signs from spirit, and it doesn't necessarily have to be animals, number synchronicities, different maybe quotes or song lyrics that keep coming up. It can be all sorts of different things, like seeing the same bird outside your bedroom window every day. Or, something I actually thought about the other day was back when I was still out on the road, and the bird built her nest inside my truck because it was hotter than hell. It was summertime, and I left my truck windows down all the time. And where the radio is supposed to be in my truck, she built a nest in there, and it's still in there. I still haven't taken it out, because to me that was a sign. And I felt so bad when I ended up leaving that campground. And actually I just ended up switching spots, but she did all that hard work for that nest just for me to drive off and take it with me. All right, honor. Then we got allure, cherish on the bottom of the deck. Also seeing surrender and accept. It's under that. Yes. Oh, I dropped it. Hold on. Moments like that, so many people are just quick to destroy something that somebody put so much hard work and effort into. You could look at that literally or figuratively. We encounter so many people in our lives that they don't realize how hard we've worked to grow and to heal and to learn and, cherish what life has given us. And they just want to come in and shit on it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there like that. But don't let that take away what you've accomplished. Don't let that take away from the joy that you experience for how far you've come. Going back to the no judgment. Be a duck. Just let it roll off your back. Nobody has the right to judge you and your journey. All right, we got honor. Respect for yourself and others is key to your growth. Have you felt a lack of respect in some areas of your life? By setting clear boundaries and honoring yourself, the world will follow suit. So treating people how you want to be treated. We talked about that already. Honor yourself enough to walk away from people, places, and situations that don't show you the respect that you offer to others. Excuse me. Then we got allure, cherish. Cherish the beauty that attracts you. Have you been too busy to appreciate the good things around you? Take time to enjoy and value the moments and people that bring you joy. What did we talk about earlier? Embracing the things that bring you joy. Knowing that you don't need more material things to bring you joy. Remembering that happiness is a conscious choice, not an automatic response. Being able to find the joy even in the difficult moments. Then we got accept. Accepting things as they are can be a powerful step forward. You may be resisting changes lately. Let go of control and you'll discover peace and new opportunities in the present moment. Getting centered, accepting things as they are, accepting how far you've come, accepting that certain people, places, and things can't go with you where you're going. You know, when we reach certain points on our journey of growing and healing, there's people in our lives that will not allow us to continue to grow. They hold us back. And so, in order to continue on the journey, you have to let them go. You have to leave them behind because they're not going to allow you to grow. Usually that means that they benefit from whatever negative, whether it's you, the self criticism. You know, when you don't respect yourself, when you don't honor yourself, when you don't accept yourself as you are, and you're constantly masking for other people, being what they want you to be, being what they expect you to be, doing the things that they expect you to do, not truly loving yourself. When we're in that toxic energy, because that, let's be real, that's what it is, we don't stand up for ourselves. We'll let people run over us and walk on us like we're a doormat. We just want to be loved. We just want to be accepted. We just want reciprocation. But because we want it so bad, and we in our mind think, well, if I just keep giving, eventually somebody's going to give in return, right? Well, but we're seeking that in people outside of ourselves. When in reality, if we took all that energy, all that effort, all that love that we are giving to others that don't appreciate it, that take advantage of it, that basically, in some cases, hold us captive with it, and we start giving it to ourselves, the amount of change that can occur, you won't even recognize yourself. Like when you take that time to get centered and look back at how far you've come, you'll be like, or usually for me, what happens is like I'll be in a situation, you know, something will be happening, and I will react in said way. And then after the moment has passed, later on, I'll stop and just kind of think about it for a few minutes and realize, like, really think about the fact that, you know, 5 years ago, how I would have reacted in that situation. And usually I can go back and find almost an exact kind of situation to compare it to. And then can be super proud of myself because moments like that really like reinforce that the changes that were made were not just temporary. It wasn't just a thought. It wasn't just an idea. It was something that was implemented. And when you can have those moments, when the universe gives you those moments, those tests, you know, to see how much you've learned and how much you've grown and how much you've changed, and you actually see it for what it is, to where you can acknowledge that growth, it gives you the momentum to keep going. But if we forget to do that, if we forget to get centered, embrace our health, embrace the self-love, the unconditional love, you know, embrace all those things that we've learned to give ourselves instead of giving to others and expecting it in return. Because we're not doing it with expectations. You know, we want to be those types of people that we give love and kindness, encouragement and knowledge and support because we have enough to share, not because we're expecting to receive it from other people. That's codependency at the root. And a lot of us don't. I know I didn't. It took me a long time to realize how codependent I really was. Because for a long time, when I thought of codependency, I thought of like being physically dependent on somebody, whether for a place to live, for finances, for food. Well, I thought, but in most cases, codependency is an emotional thing. Yes, it can mean a literal dependency of some kind, but for me, codependency was very much emotionally codependent. I didn't know how to be alone because I had been alone so much as a child that when I grew up, I desperately craved attention and reassurance from outside sources to the point to where I was putting myself around a lot of bad people and in a lot of bad environments and situations. 50-50 on the timer when I looked. That really put me through a lot. But going through all of that helped me see how codependent I really was. So being able to look at things from a different perspective to where, yes, this is not necessarily a good thing that's happening, but what can I learn about myself from it? What can I learn about how I talk about myself and to myself and how I look at the outside world? Am I looking with judgment or am I looking with love? Okay, sorry, I went off kind of on a tangent there. I'm sure that a lot of people can relate to that. Okay, now we're gonna, let's see. We'll do the animal allies. Last time we got Scarlet, Robin, and Owl. Owls I always associate nocturnal energy with. Waking up before it's daylight. So it's all about perspective. Some people call that 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Some people call that nighttime. But some people call that morning time. Or rising time. AM, PM. To third shifters, nighttime is, or PM is actually AM, and AM is actually PM. It's all about perspective. Okay, animal allies. This is too many, but I'll acknowledge them. Heron, Swift, Rooster, and Robin came back out. Seek comfort in the growth. Seek comfort in those moments where you're able to honor and accept, the places you've been, the things you've seen, the people you've met. Crane and Stork. How interesting. And Heron came out. Oh, there's another one. Cardinal. We really just want one. Alright, I guess we'll stick with Condor on the bottom of the deck and Parakeet on the top of the deck. Interesting that the Crane came out when we saw Heron in that other group. The Crane, the Stork, the Heron, those are all big birds. They're very tall. Standing tall, being proud of who you are. Cranes are very proud birds. It was in my Native American animal spirit book where it talked about how cranes don't like the fact that people confuse them for herons or confuse herons for cranes. Apparently, they're very different kind of birds. But it said in that cranes are very proud birds. So being proud of who you are. Crane superpowers. Longevity, focus, balance, protection, youthful outlook, peace, hopefulness, good fortune, and fertility. Crane wisdom. Not everything is up to fate. Choices are made every day, and the consequences of those choices are the results. An unwanted or unexpected consequence is an opportunity to course correct. Wow. When Crane appears, consider where you're focusing your energy. Are you giving away too much power by allowing outside opinions to influence your efforts? It's okay to redirect your focus while you figure it out. What were we just talking about? Not making decisions based on what other people want or what other people expect. Crane wants you to know you have access to more fresh ideas than you give yourself credit for. Your ability to create something from nothing is a great asset. Don't squander it. So when you get those ideas, ooh, my nose is itching. When you get those ideas, those moments of inspiration, write it down, acknowledge it. You know, ask. We do have employment change and ask for help. Block out distractions. Don't get distracted from the different things, different projects that you want to work on. Don't give away so much of your energy that you can't give to yourself, right? You can't work on your projects or your goals. Okay. Very much lining up with everything we've already said this morning. All right, and then we got Stork. Stork superpowers: dedication, maternal instincts, feminine energies, new ideas, adventurous spirit, the ability to uplift and inspire, and the removal of blocks. Confirmation: block out distractions. Walking away from people, places, and things that no longer serve you. Stork wisdom: taking a deep dive into understanding what makes someone tick is a valuable endeavor. But sometimes you just need to accept that humans are complicated and let it be a mystery. When Stork appears, find ways to awaken your inner artist. Give birth to a new creative project or go on a fun adventure. Reflect on any creative blocks to help shift stuck energy. Stork wants you to know you can do anything you set your mind to. You get to choose where your energy flows. Giving to your own growth, seeing the allure in embracing who you truly are, knowing that it's not about money. If it's meant for you, it will come to you in some way, shape, or form. A lot of times we just get impatient. Confirmation. Patience is a virtue that a lot of us are not blessed with, especially in this day and age with technology and AI and all that. We're so accustomed to just getting it at the snap, at the snap of your fingers instantly. Like, could you imagine today going back to dial-up internet, while you're waiting for it to connect and upload? People today that are so used to just it instantly popping up, they would probably go into an anger fit having to wait for dial-up internet. It's the things that we get accustomed to expecting. Embracing the opportunities to engage with real people. We get so used to connecting this way that especially the newer generations struggle with actually connecting with people in the physical, interacting with people in real life. All right, then we got Cardinal. Cardinal superpowers: romancing yourself, confidence, fresh starts, determination, emotional encounters, and deep conversation. Cardinal wisdom: messages may come from anywhere, even from loved ones who've transitioned into the soul world. To tune in, sometimes you just need to go sit under a tree and listen. Going back to the get centered, spending time in nature. When Cardinal appears, listen to the small voice inside your heart. What does it long to hear in this moment? What message would feel supportive to you? Repeat it out loud to yourself and see what magic happens. Cardinal wants you to know. Pay attention to signs and omens right now. You may find meaning in something as simple as seeing a flower or looking to the skies. Trust in what makes its way to you. Very much lining up with the 4442 signs, angel number. Taking the time to see the signs, slowing down, and really living life instead of just coasting through. You know, so many people are just like in a habitual routine of doing the same stuff every day. And a lot of times all we need is just a little bit of variety, you know? Break up that stagnant energy. All right, now we're going to pull from the Wandering Heart Oracle. Last time we got Without Condition, Neglect, and I Am. Number 2, number 20, and number 33. Accepting the messages that you see. You know, when you get to a certain point where you're actually looking for them, like you're really paying attention to the world around you, you'll be when you see them, accept them. Don't try to shrug it off as coincidence or, you know, just happenstance. Don't do that. Find comfort when those things happen. 9 times out of 10 when that happens, that, you know, that's your angels, ancestors, spirit guides, the Most High trying to communicate with you on a different level. Honor them, by honoring yourself, you will honor them. By loving yourself, accepting yourself, offering that unconditional love, not only to yourself, but to other people. I'm the only one I've got. So I'm going to speak lovingly to myself from sunup to sunup. That means extra compliments hold the critical anxiety spirals. And it also double just confirming that in the no judgment. I release myself from any and all judgments. I send my inner critic on a vacation. Water your body, taking the time to listen to your body, trying to learn and understand what different things mean, like ear ringing, or getting goosebumps, or, you know, the top of your head just all of a sudden getting really cold. You know, a lot of those things have spiritual meanings, but in the world that we live in, they twist it to where it's a medical issue. 9 times out of 10, when you're getting especially physical signs on your body from spirit, whether they're good or bad, the medical world, if you were to go to a doctor about that, they're going to tell you that it's a medical condition and they're going to put you on medicine for it. But there's always a spiritual hidden meaning behind everything. Whether it's your ears ringing, goosebumps, the cold on your head, the getting really hot all of a sudden. You know, there's a lot of things that our body messages that our bodies are sending us that people dismiss or mislabel as medical issues, and they're not. It's your body's way of trying to communicate with you. All right. Think of your body like a computer, like in the Matrix. And, you know, you start getting security alerts on your computer, like if your firewall's been compromised or something like that. The computer is going to send you alerts that something's happening. Well, your body does the same thing. Just like the check engine light on a car. You know, if you've been driving the same car for 2 years and never had any problems out of it, and then all of a sudden one day the check engine light comes on, odds are there's a problem. It may not be a big problem yet, but if you ignore that check engine light, it's going to become a big problem. Same thing with your body. All right, we got reclaim your power and shelter. We got evil eye on the bottom of the deck and autopilot on the top of the deck. Reclaim your power. Reclaim your independence. Reclaim your self-love. Reclaim your inner child. Reclaim your life. Number 28, which breaks down to a 10, which is the number of completion. Knowing that in order to be able to fully love and respect yourself, you can't walk both sides of the fence. You know, you can't love, respect, honor yourself while being around people, places, and things that don't do the same. All right. Advocate for what's rightfully yours. Reclaim your power, daringness, and honor. You are who you think you are. You do not have to shrink yourself for the contentment of anyone. Show your face. Be the truth. Reimagine. You are stepping into your true light. You are honoring your gifts, and you are no longer accommodating the bare minimum. Out with the old ways of living, in with the new. What excited you once no longer does. There are endings and there are beginnings. You embrace both. Embracing the growth, embracing the change, pushing through the fear, pushing through the pain, stepping out of your comfort zone, stepping out in faith, knowing that spirit will be there to catch you. You just have to step out. Kind of like, holy crap, I can't believe this is what's coming in my head right now. When Jesus walked on water and he called Peter, Simon, out onto the water. As long as he kept his eyes on him, okay, think of this metaphorically, not literally, okay? When you step out in faith, faith in yourself, faith in the divine, no fear, right? Like, I know if I fall, they're going to catch me. There's no reason, like walking on a tightrope. You know, it's a lot easier to walk on a tightrope when you know that you've got that net there to catch you, right? But how many people do you know that would be willing to walk a tightrope without a net? We've got that net. Just try it. Whatever it is. Don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to embrace your quirky, whatever personality traits, activities that you enjoy doing. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, you're not causing pain, you're not causing destruction or fear or damage, do what makes you happy. There are enough people in this world that we should be able to love and encourage people to do that with no judgment. I don't live with you. You don't pay my bills. Do you, boo? And it should be that way for all of us. Just because I don't enjoy doing something doesn't mean that you don't have the right to enjoy doing it. I mean, within a moral compass, obviously. But, all right. Then we have shelter. Number 25. A place of no suffering. Precaution and privacy. You hold access to mountains of ancestors who stream fortune directly into your being, making sure you are impenetrable and full. The hardships they faced were not meant to be passed down or adopted. In fact, their wishes for solace led you here. They refuse to rest until you find refuge. Stress is played out. The abuse in every form is unacceptable. Now is the time to tackle unfinished business so you can come back home to yourself. Wow. Refrain from condoning absurdity. Detach from your experiences. Do not empower them to hang over your head. Do not rush or act too suddenly. Calculate every move and figure out what's worth your energy and what isn't. Nurture what matters the most to you. You've decided to journey backward. You miss the untroubled version of yourself. You shut people out for a while, knowing there is work to be done. You worry that others have an overwhelming effect on you. Too many opinions, too much judgment and influence. Time to make up your own mind. Who are you when it's just you? What is that song? Who are you when I'm not looking? I think that's Blake Shelton. 111 on the timer when I looked. I'm turning on my hotspot in case you're wondering what I'm doing. Okay. That's exactly what I thought of. I haven't heard that song in a long time. I don't remember who he sings it with, though. I wasn't prepared. I didn't have it connected to the hotspot. Or, I mean, I didn't have my... Yeah, I didn't have it connected. Let me go ahead and put this away while we're waiting. Blake Shelton, who are you when I'm not looking? All right, now I'm getting out the Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards. Yeah. Let's see who it is. Who are you when no one else is around?
Kids learn to love learning.
Are you the same all the time? Or do you change in order to be accepted by others? All right. Last time with this deck, we had impartiality, bittersweet, and grief.
My oh my, you're so good looking. Hold yourself together like a pair of bookends. But I've not tasted all your cooking.
Hold yourself like a pair of bookends. Hold yourself together.
When I'm not looking.
Blake Shelton, who are you when I'm not looking?
Little something on the rocks. Slide down the hallway in your sock.
There you go. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. It's a really good song. I mean, in that song particularly, he's talking about, you know, a love interest, but if you can look at it from different perspectives and get a different message from it. Okay. Chakra Wisdom Oracle. Confusion. Crown Chakra energy. Destiny on the bottom of the deck. And balance on the top of the deck. It's what it's all about. It's all about finding balance. Knowing that in life, life is a book of contradictions. Confusion. This is very much justice energy. The first will be last and the last will be first. You've got third eye chakra energy and crown chakra energy out here. Confusion, silver cloud. Every silver lining has a cloud. The legend. Jana climbs Faith Mountain in dense fog, wondering whether her decision to leave her boyfriend was the right one. There is another man waiting in the wings. There always is. Silver cloud surrounds her, and it is cold and scary. Despite her confusion, she keeps climbing. As she reaches the summit, the fog clears, revealing the town far below. With Silver Cloud's help, she has journeyed much further than she realized. She now knows what to do. She begins the long journey home to reclaim her love. Inspiration. Through the willingness to be in confusion, we find clarity. There's nothing to solve. Meditation and quiet time will bring clarity. Personal inquiry. Can I see confusion as a good thing? Can I learn to let go of needing an immediate outcome? What was I talking about when I talked about the internet? Having to be patient. Key ideas. Allowing confusion, spiritual support, consequences of actions, and finding love. Another card, I think it was one of the animal cards, said something about the consequences of our actions. Key words, clarity, support, and revelation. And then we got destiny, black and white. Together we are stronger than alone. The legend, black and white are in heaven, waiting to go back to earth yet again to complete their work. When they met and fell in love, wait a minute, stop. When they meet and fall in love, they learn that they will not be together on earth. In previous lives, their love was ill-fated. They appeal to the council of great spirits who turn down their request to be together. But the great servant appears and grants their wish. Together they accomplish greater things than they could have done alone. Inspiration. Take a risk. Dare to have your life the way you decide. Are you willing to make sacrifices to have what you desire? Personal inquiry. What tools do I need to form my own destiny? Am I ready for my destiny? Key ideas. True love. We got that in our affirmations. Taking a stand. Positive omen. Radical thinking. Deep satisfaction. Ability to change. Key words. Love, pathway, and faith. We talked about it from the very beginning. Stepping out in faith, having the courage to be your true self, to reclaim your power. With the black and white, yin and yang energy, the dark and the light. I'm seeing that picture, that Native American picture where it's the black wolf and the white wolf, and there's the old, story where it talks about the one that you feed the most is going to be the strongest. If you feed the black wolf more than the white wolf, then it's going to be stronger. All right, and then we got balance. Justice energy coming off of that, which is Libra energy. The power of 3. There's 3 people in this card, or in this picture. And none of them look really happy. All right, balance. Emancipated periwinkle. I must create before the opportunity disappears. The legend. Periwinkle is a small town theater actor with big time talent. An agent arrives in town and is quite impressed with young Periwinkle. She offers him a contract and he drops everything that once mattered to him to be available for fame. Feeling sure that his big break is coming, he alienates his loved ones. He signs a contract with the agency, but there are no jobs. He is told he must wait for the right one. He learns that waiting for a dream is not as powerful as living a loving reality. Inspiration. Running towards something may chase it away. Be weary of being deceived by your own desires. Personal inquiry. I take me with me wherever I go. Is there a part of my life that may be out of alignment with who I am? Key ideas. Chasing illusions, health matters, compulsive behavior, dietary imbalance, being result oriented, self neglect, and honoring values. Keywords: assistance, courtesy, and support. So, confirmation on the health energy, making positive choices in your life, in your diet, in your self talk, and the people, places, and things that you surround yourself with. Which wolf are you feeding? Are you finding balance? Are you overindulging, or that doesn't really benefit your highest good? All right, now we're going to pull from the Archangel Fire Oracle. Last time we got Mel, number 40. Let's see what his basic message was. Beloved, this message comes with confirmation that you have been initiated into the Order of Mel, an etheric lineage of ancient souls who are returning to Earth to assist with the ascension. I am with you always. And I just noticed that that was on page 127, which also breaks down to a 10. On our Wandering Heart Oracle Guards, we got 25 and 28. 28 broke down to a 10. 25 breaks down to a 7. I said something about the number 7 when I was telling the deer story. We did get 1177. Growth, learning, development, nature, potential, access, and success, and expansion. Acknowledging your little successes. 123.53 on the timer. No matter how little that success may seem, don't forget to acknowledge it and honor it. All right, Archangel Fire Oracle. Seeing obstacles as a challenge, not as a final destination. Like when you hit a roadblock, instead of just giving up and staying there, see it as a challenge, see it as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to become stronger. I say it all the time. We never know how strong we are until we don't have a choice but to be strong. You know, when something in your life presents itself and it's like that moment or that situation that you just don't have a choice. You have to make a way. You have to realize that you're the only one that you've got. And if you don't do whatever it is, then it won't be done. It won't get done. All right, we got number 2. Taz, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Tazphk. Wait a minute. Tzapphkiel. Let's see if I'm able to look up how to pronounce it. I always think of Isis when I see her. And I'm pretty sure in her message they associate her with Isis.
Get any pizza with any toppings for just $9.99 online. Try the Domino's viral pizza or invent a new one.
Zafkiel. Zafkiel. So the T is silent. Zaphiel. Zaphiel. Zafkiel. Because there's the Q. Zafkiel. Okay. Zafkiel. Zafkiel. All right. Creation from chaos. Zafkiel's name means God's knowledge or understanding of God. This angel is the epitome of the divine feminine and is aligned with the great cosmic mother. She guides us to seek spiritual perfection. Like the image of her as the veiled Egyptian goddess Isis in her card, she is the teacher of esoteric knowledge, mythology, spells, and rituals. Unyielding and sometimes more than a little demanding in nature. Working with her can feel like an initiation into the darkest depths of the feminine mysteries. As keeper of the Akashic records, she offers you the key to unlocking all your lifetimes. When you enter the cosmic womb, be prepared for what is lurking below the surface of the subconscious to be brought out into the harsh light of day for review. But with her as your powerful protectress, there is nothing to fear, as the truth, however disconcerting, will always set you free. She is also a brilliant ally to help resolve conflicts. Keeper of the ring past knot, she rules over the cycles and waters of creation. She offers you silence, which is vital for seeking higher wisdom. Once you lift the veil and peer into the dark recesses of your soul, trust this angel is by your side, guiding you across the abyss to renewal. Hers is a powerful alchemy, but glory greets you on the other side. Her message: stay the course. Your soul is calling you to deeper and higher wisdom. You are entering a new phase of creation. Many gifts will be revealed. The more you embrace who you are, the more you will find out about yourself. Give yourself permission to acknowledge your desires. Historically, humans have been taught to deny our emotions, and desire is perhaps the most denied feeling of all. Are you harboring suppressed guilt, anger, resentment, sadness, grief, or loss around not having your needs met? Where are you punishing or blocking yourself around receiving? Do you know what your true desires are? When you embody Zapkiel's energy and surrender to grace, you can uncover hidden wants and their rewards, like buried treasure waiting to be found. Going back to what it said earlier about what are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to sacrifice old patterns, people, places, and things that no longer serve you to step into your destiny? Are you going to love yourself enough to do that? Are you going to accept the journey? Are you going to answer the call? All right, we're going to get a gemstone card. It's been a while since we've gotten one of these. Last time we got aquamarine. We got tourmaline on the top of the deck as we're starting. Turquoise on the bottom of the deck. Explore the universe of gems and minerals. And then we'll get into the new decks. And I'll still save Mary Magdalene for last. The best for last, right? All right. I found a deck on Amazon when I was searching for the new decks that I did get. And I'm debating whether getting it or not. I'm having mixed feelings about it, but I'm contemplating getting it. And it's a biblical tarot deck where it tells us how it connects to the never-ending story. Like how it's the same story just with different faces type thing. Amazonite, luck, abundance, and comfort. Striking Amazonite formations can be found in the ancient granite of the Rocky Mountains in Colorado in the USA. Nice. Let me flip it this way. There we go. Very pretty color. Amazonite. Almost similar to turquoise, which we saw when we got started as far as the color goes. All right, now we'll go into the new deck. Well, no, we still got Animal Spirit and Herbal Astrology. 133.22 on the timer. We'll pull from Animal Spirit. Last time we got Peacock and Turtle. Slow and steady wins the race. Don't be distracted by the plumage. Going back to our Angels of Abundance, block out distractions. In the reading of the peacock, it talks about, the plumage of a peacock's feathers and how they use that to attract the females. Don't be distracted by the plumage. All right. Deer, look at that. Beautiful. I talked about the deer. Elephant on the bottom of the deck. Scorpion on the top of the deck. Technically, Scorpion was in reverse. Deer is earth energy, loving into the mother. The deer represents feminine aspects of earth energy. This energy is available to all creatures regardless of gender, but is especially potent in new parents. During the first few days, they are fully present, nurturing, and calm. Their inner beauty radiates, and a sense of grace calms the room. A deer personality affects others in this way, drawing them toward a quiet tenderness. The deer card may appear when a birth or celebration of new life draws near, or when a situation calls for absolute gentleness and compassion, unconditional love. When in balance, compassionate and nurturing and receptive. When out of balance, concerned and protective. To bring into balance nature and children. Going back to what I said earlier about nurturing your inner child. All right, and then we got Elephant and Scorpion, which are both fire energy. So you got earth and fire. In some areas, you know, they will actually intentionally set a fire to burn away all the old so that the green can grow back stronger and healthier. Elephant is the one I'm looking for. All right. Unstoppable, auspicious, and wise. The elephant is arguably the most auspicious figure in the deck. Like Ganesh, the elephant represents immense wisdom, as well as good fortune. It is said that the great elephant is the destroyer of obstacles. So what was I just talking about the obstacles, the roadblocks? So if this card appears when you feel stuck, rest assured the path will soon become clear. To add to the mystery, the elephant is also known to create obstacles in order to steer us in the right direction. Trust this gentle, noble creature. It illuminates the way with the light of self-knowledge. When in balance, one-pointed focus, generous and loving. When out of balance, misunderstood or misunderstands fate. And to bring into balance, trust. Trusting the process, trusting the divine. Trusting that good things come to those who wait, to those that are patient. As long as you're doing the work, as long as you're, you know, honoring your wants, your needs, your abilities. All right, and then we got Scorpion. And remember, technically this one was in reverse. Passionate, competitive, tends towards isolation. The Scorpion is a passionate and determined creature. Their career is very important to them, as are a few select friends. Sometimes the Scorpion's heat festers, and they focus on an unresolved event from the past, usually a situation where they were left feeling burned. The Scorpion card says it's time to come clean about your feelings so everyone can heal and you can get back to your usual fiery but fun self. When in balance, wild and free and fierce. When out of balance, jealous, resentful, and unresolved. To bring into balance, honesty and forgiveness. I talked about that at the very beginning of the video about, you know, the feelings of jealousy, resentment. That can cause a lot of damage, not only in your external world, but your internal as well. It can affect your health. It can literally like eat you alive. All right, now we're going to pull from the Herbal Astrology. Last time we got Comfrey, number 32, completion. We do have a lot of completion energy out here this morning. Accepting things as they are, not as you thought they were going to be. Accepting yourself as you are, not your life in other people's hands. But at the same time, not being afraid to ask for help. Understanding that a lot of times when we're going through, big life-changing moments, we do need help, even if not from our physical world, at least from our angels, ancestors, spirit guides, and the Most High. Seek comfort under their wings during the turbulence, during the difficult times. All right, herbal astrology. Mugwort, psychic healing, number 10. Once again, a number of completion, but confirmation on the number 10 again, and on the completion energy. Mugwort, psychic healing. Dream work, the liminal space, in transition, other realities, clairvoyance, and foresight. Astrological ruler, Moon and Neptune. All Artemisia family plants are sacred to Artemis, the moon goddess, and mugwort is closely linked to the fairy realms. Historically, it has been used to protect against evil spirits, parasitic entities, dark energy, and hexes among a variety of cultures. Mugwort and its extended family are moon allies that symbolize the mystical workings of our intuition, dreams, and unconscious mind. The silvery light of the moon illuminates the path to higher consciousness, winding through La Selvia Subterranean, the underground forest. The moon represents our emotional body, the shadow self, the underworld, psychic abilities, and the occult. Very much lining up with our Archangel card today. And also with our Chakra Wisdom Oracles, talking about the silver lining. Its dark side can bring on illusions, fear, and feelings of separation and disconnection. Mugwort grants us the strength to work with our shadow and protects us from the parasitic entities that we might encounter as we dive deep into our psyche. Mugwort is a resilient plant that grows in conditions where other herbs may be unhappy. This bitter herb was traditionally used as a tonic for stomach and intestinal conditions, including as a parasite cleanser and aid to weak digestion and more. The moon is said to directly govern the stomach, the gut in its entirety, and the regulation of fluid in the body. So it is no coincidence that Artemisia, the moon goddess herb, greatly eases chronic stomach and intestinal complaints. Guidance. Artemisia, the moon goddess, and her wise space between one life phase and the next. Wide open. She is instructing you on how to draw upon your to pass through this test within the realms of shadow. You are not. Oftentimes, the greatest clarity dawns after the darkest hours. Owl medicine asks you to use the powers of keen psychic sight to observe and intuit aspects of your life that may still lay in darkness. Confront that which is unworthy of your devotion. Eradicate destructive forces. Pay attention to the signs and omens that appear as you navigate the labyrinth of the subterranean forest. Signs, that's triple confirmation on the signs. The getting centered, the blocking out the distractions, cleansing yourself of people, places, and things that no longer serve your highest good. I'm going to have to give me some more. I think mugwort is actually on my Amazon list right now. But I did, the newest ones that I got is what I made my tea out of this morning. I'll do another Amazon haul video on my other channel. But I got jasmine green tea, red raspberry, fresh ginger powder, and cinnamon powder. Okay, that being said, that card mentioned dreams, so we're gonna jump into the new deck now, and we'll start with the dream deck, which is Mystical Dream. Unlock the secrets of your dreams. Last time when we used these for the first time, we got like 6, and I created shorts of these where I'm reading them while you can look at them, because we are trying to better learn how to analyze our dreams. Also, I wanted to point out that in this Mugwort card, it has an owl, and it mentions the owl in the reading. We did get the owl last time from the Animal Allies deck. We didn't get it this time, but we got it in the last video. I always associate owls with wisdom, owls with nocturnal energy, being awake while everyone else is asleep, finding your quiet time, listening to the sounds of nature. It's been a long time. It's been quite energy, but most are messengers of some kind. All right, one more shuffle. And that was a horrible shuffle. Let's do that again. This is quite a thick deck. These cards are very well made. All right, we got anger on the bottom of the deck as we're getting started. Guardian wanted to flip over. Be the guardian of your own heart, the guardian of your own dreams. Protect yourself by connecting with your angels, ancestors, spirit guides, and the Most High. Don't ignore that connection. Embrace it. Accept it. Honor it. Maze. Wolf on the bottom of the deck. We've seen the wolf energy. Altar on the top of the deck. We're also seeing fish on the bottom of the deck. That's Pisces energy, water energy, and then falling. The last time I pulled from this deck, the guy that was watching in the chat said something about falling. Falling symbolizes a loss of control and fear, often reflecting feelings of hopelessness and uncertainty. Fish swimming in water symbolizes the deep recesses of the subconscious. No, not seen wolf energy in this deck. It was a different deck from the new decks that we saw wolf energy. The deck that's got the keywords. So, but we did see wolf energy last time, just in a different deck. All right, we'll start with Maze. Maze symbolizes the complexity of your emotions and thoughts, often appearing when you feel lost or confused. Dreaming of a maze suggests inner turmoil, with challenges reflecting your confusion. It encourages self-reflection to find the way out. Though the path may not be straight, the journey will lead to spiritual awakening. All right, and then wolf, which is what was on the bottom of the deck. The wolf, leader of the forest, represents strength in solitude and deep intuition. It appears in your dreams as a reminder from your subconscious to rely on your instincts and inner leadership when facing challenges. You might be on the verge of a transformation and toward the unknown. Solitude. Embracing the solitude, going back to all the way to the beginning to the true affirmation, embracing your alone time, also going all the way back to the beginning with our daily mantra. I'm the only me I've got. Going back to what I said earlier, the sooner you can embrace who you are and learn to love and enjoy your own company, the better off you'll be. All right, and then we got altar. There's sacred geometry in this picture. A lot of lit candles. You can see up at the top, like the different planets, astrological energy. It did mention the moon energy earlier as well. Altar symbolizes devotion, ritual, and the sacred connection with the divine. Dreaming of an altar suggests you're in a phase of spiritual dedication, focusing on growth, meditation, or higher practices. It reminds you to honor your spiritual practices and connect deeply with the divine, inviting gratitude, sacrifice, and devotion to strengthen your soul's purpose. Didn't I say something earlier about, are you willing to sacrifice to get where you want to go? Are you willing to let go of people, places, things, thought patterns, different desires to be able to walk the path that you're trying to walk? All right, now we'll pull from Echoes of the Soul Oracle deck. This is the deck that it's a 2-part deck. Instead of it having a guidebook, it actually has a guide deck. So last time we got the Veil of Crows, Unseen Stories, and Crimson Confessions, 18, 34, and 33. This is also one of the new decks. At some point, I will try to post links. When it's all said and done, you can just go to Amazon and type the name in the search bar, and you'll find it. So all of my decks I order through Amazon. Echoes of the Soul Oracle deck. All right, let's try for just one, please. Because these have very long messages. That's way too many. These cards are still kind of new and like glossy, so they're still kind of sticking together. Let's shuffle them a few more times. That was a good one. I hope everybody's having a peaceful, positive, productive day today. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is when you come across this video. That would be from The Truman Show with Jim Carrey. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. In case I don't see you. All right. Shattered Perspective, number 31. Bottom of the deck. Once again, 7. There are 7 crows in this picture. I saw the 7 deer. And then we got 11, the gateway of knowledge on the top of the deck. With the top and bottom of the deck, we won't read the whole card, but we'll read the general message for each one. All right, so we'll start with, because this deck is in order and I don't want to get it out of order, we'll go in numerical order. Wait a minute. The Gateway of Knowledge is supposed to be number 11, and number 11, the Shadows of Reflection. What? Wow, there's a typo in this deck. Okay, look. This is the Gateway of Knowledge, number 11. It's hard to see because it's white letters on top of white clouds. But the Insight card, number 11, says Shadows of Reflection. The Gateway of Knowledge actually says number 14. So let's see if we can find Shadows of Reflection. That is unusual. Okay, so they did just get them swapped. Shadows of Reflection. It also says number 11. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I'm seeing it now. That line is so thin. That is a 4. But because it's white letters on top of white clouds, you can barely see that. Okay. So number is the one that we actually got. The Gateway of Knowledge. But significance to Shadows of Reflection. Number 11. Key themes: contemplation, inner turmoil, seeking clarity, emotional growth, and self-awareness. Affirmation: I embrace the shadows within me as teachers. Through compassion and understanding, I transform them into wisdom and light. Wow, okay, let me put this back. So the deck's not messed up, I just read it wrong. Okay. The Gateway of Knowledge. But the one that actually came out was Shattered Perspective, which is number 31. And then 18, The Veil of Crows. We saw that last time. And we counted last time that there are 7 crows in that picture. She's standing at a doorway. Last time in our cards, we had 2 pictures of a woman standing at a doorway. All right, so Shattered Perspective, number 31. It's like the image I'm seeing in my head that correlates with this is the beginning scenes of Vanilla Sky when he's running down through Times Square and it's empty. There's nobody there. That's kind of what I'm seeing in my head. Shattered Perspective. Key themes: chaos, transformation, breaking illusions, revelation, clarity through disruption. I don't remember where we saw it, but where we saw embracing the chaos. When the familiar shatters, it can feel disorienting and overwhelming. But within the fragments lies the opportunity for profound clarity. Shattered Perspective calls you to embrace the disorder. For it is through disruption that illusions are broken and new truths are revealed. Let go of the need to piece everything back exactly as it was. Instead, look at the fragments with fresh eyes. What new patterns, meanings, or possibilities emerge. Transformation is born from the chaos, and clarity awaits on the other side. We've read perspective feels fractured, urging you to shift your focus from what has been lost or disrupted to what can be gained. Shattered perspective invites you to release old frameworks and illusions that no longer serve you. This is a time of transformation and rebuilding where you can redefine your understanding of yourself, your situation, or the world. Trust that even in the chaos, hidden patterns and opportunities for growth are waiting to be uncovered. I embrace the clarity that emerges through chaos. From the fragments of disruption, I create a new and transformative vision. Actionable insight. Identify one area of your life where a disruption or challenge has created uncertainty. Instead of focusing on restoring what was, take a moment to reflect on the new possibilities this change has opened up. Consider one small action you can take to redefine your path or rebuild in a way that aligns with your newfound clarity. Reflection. Shattered perspective reminds you that chaos is not the end, but a powerful catalyst for transformation. By breaking old illusions and examining the fragments, you uncover deeper truths and align with a clearer, more authentic vision. What clarity can you find within the fragments of your shattered perspective? How will you use this information to rebuild and grow? We got growth, number 1177. And we've talked about that. Embracing the opportunities, embracing the change, acknowledging the signs, loving yourself through whatever altercations, change, transition, transformation, whatever you're going through. Ask for your needs to be met. Okay, we'll just stick these back in for now. Well, I don't want to get them out of order, so let me put them back in their rightful place. But we'll keep the picture card out. Shattered perspective. Chaos, transformation, breaking illusion. Yeah, breaking illusions, revelation, clarity through disruption. All right. And then we got the Veil of Crows. We're not going to read the whole thing, but we'll read the basic messages because we just got this one. It was one of the ones that we put back in. Key themes: mystery, shadow work, hidden truths, facing fears, transformation through the unknown. Affirmation: I am courageous in facing my fears and embracing the unknown. Through shadow work, I uncover hidden truths and step into my light. That was number 18. And then 14, the gateway of knowledge. I don't know why I'm seeing it this way, but Harry Potter, when they sneak into the restricted section of the library, Akashic Records, we did get Akashic Records energy with our Archangel Fire Oracle. All right, the gateway of knowledge, enlightenment, curiosity, new horizons, intellectual growth, and infinite potential. Perspectives, looking at things from a different perspective. Affirmation: I am a seeker of wisdom, open to boundless possibilities of knowledge. My curiosity leads me to growth and transformation. So transformation energy in every single one of these cards. It's speaking of transformation. Death and rebirth. We got that energy with the Scorpion card. Accepting things as they are, accepting the challenge to grow. choosing to venture into the labyrinth instead of just staying stuck at the gate, pushing through the fear and stepping onto the path, which is your journey. If you've never seen that movie, that is a good movie, Labyrinth with David Bowie. That's an old movie, but a good movie. All right, so embracing the transformation and, you know, pushing through the fear, pushing through the pain. We talk about it here a lot, you know, pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone, but seeking comfort in the new. Being able to be comfortable in those situations, environments that used to make us uncomfortable. Being able to find balance within ourselves, not depending, you know, reclaiming our own power, protecting our energy, but not having to hide ourselves away from the world to be able to do that. You know, finding that balance. All right, now we're going to pull from Nature Seasons Oracle deck. This is the one that last time we saw the wolf energy. We got dolphin on the bottom of the deck as we're getting started. And then after this, we'll pull from Mary Magdalene, and then we'll be done. 2:06:55 on the timer. One more shuffle. Embrace nature's wisdom, awaken the power within. Nature Seasons. I really like this deck. If you notice on the picture on the front of the box, it shows the different seasons. I really like the mirroring effect it gives on that. And these cards have some really nice winter solstice on the bottom of the deck, introspection and rebirth. Some really nice artwork, which of course it's most of it is computer generated, but it's still with the natural look of things. All right, Nature Seasons Oracle. Owl, new moon, spring rain, inner tranquility. But owl and new moon is what flipped over. Optimism and happiness on the bottom of the deck. Harvest and fulfillment on the top of the deck. Autumn, joy, owl, and new moon. Intuition and mystery, potential and transformation. More transformation energy. Wow. All right, so we got owl energy. We saw that all the owl energy in the number 10 Mugwort Psychic Healing. Intuition and mystery. Trust your intuition today. Often the answers aren't obvious, but your inner guidance is the truest one. Look inward and unravel the hidden mysteries, allowing yourself to embrace deeper wisdom. Nice. Then we got potential and transformation, new moon energy. A lot of transformation out here. Honoring the process, reclaiming your power. Tap into your deepest potential. It's a time to set intentions that reflect your true self and harness the transformative energy of new beginnings. Today is the perfect time to take the first step. Stay open-minded and embrace new opportunities. Out with the old, in with. All right, and then we got optimism and happiness. Joy. Joy is the energy of optimism, reminding you that every moment of life is worth celebrating. Today, carry a light heart and look for the little things that bring you happiness and fulfillment. Let joy fill your life and spread it to those around you. Going back to what I said earlier, happiness is not an automatic response, it's a conscious choice. Are you going to remain optimistic? Are you going to find your happiness in the simple things? Are you going to find your happiness within, or are you going to try to create that happiness from external sources? All right, harvest and fulfillment, autumn. Autumn harvest, it's right around the corner. You know, they're already putting Halloween stuff out and Thanksgiving stuff out in the stores. It's time to enjoy the fruits of your hard work. Reflect on your achievements. Be grateful for the journey and prepare yourself for new challenges and growth. Allow yourself to bask in a sense of fulfillment. Going back to what we started with at the very beginning of this video, acknowledging how far you've come. I'm getting goosebumps. Acknowledging how far you've come. Being prepared to receive what you asked for, even though it may not come in the form that you expect. Not ignoring it. Don't ignore it because it may look different than what you expected. Ooh, the is definitely not warm anymore, and that lime juice is tart. All right, now we'll pull from the Mary Magdalene and we'll be done for the day. I'm really enjoying the new decks. Owl, New Moon, Joy, and Autumn. When is... Oh, I moved my calendar. Hold on. Let me grab my calendar real quick. I did have it over here. I was going to look and see when the new moon was. Let's see. Today is Wednesday the 16th. Aries energy. Tomorrow is the last quarter moon. The new moon is on Thursday the 24th. So a week and a day from today. So not tomorrow, Thursday, but next Thursday, the 24th, is the new moon. So maybe that's when some opportunity may be coming in around that time. Potential and transformation. Listen to your intuition. Don't overreact. Don't get over emotional. Stay optimistic and listen to your intuition. Embrace the mystery. Not knowing what to expect. Not being able, to know what to expect. Embrace that. See it as an exciting opportunity. All right. Mary, Mary, full of grace, what advice can you give us today? Seeing your own potential. Listening to your intuition about the transformation that's occurring. We talked about it last time, not basing your success on other people's success. All right. Can we get just one, please? Harvest and fulfillment. Knowing that the seeds that you plant now, this time next year, going back to what we were talking about earlier, this time next year, you will reap the harvest from those seeds that you've planted. I don't remember where we read it, where it talked about, the consequences of our choices, our results to our actions. The fifth power, I am a body and a soul. The good on the bottom of the deck, I am inherently good. The seventh power, anger is information, on the top of the deck. We saw anger in the dreams deck when we first started off. It was on the bottom of the deck. All right, the fifth power. Page 10 and 11. Also, once again, number of completion. Number 10, we've got a lot of 10 out here. All right, this is what it means to be human. We forget. We are not only this body. We are not only these fears and desires the ego conjures. We are also equally and entirely a soul. We are both, but we forget. And this is not a punishment. This is not due to some defect or weakness in what it means to be human. The fact that we forget again and again about the other half of who we are is always and in every circumstance an opportunity. Every time we can remember, as in bring back together, the eternal half of who we are with the human aspect of our nature, we practice what it means to be a true human being. A true human being, according to the Gospel of Mary, consistently to be both their human self and their soul. This, for me, is what Mary is describing in her Gospel when she says, quote, "In a world I was set loose from a world, and in a type from a type, which is above, and from the chain of forgetfulness which exists in time," end quote, referencing Mary chapter 9, verse 28. In the midst of being entirely immersed in the fifth power, in forgetting, I bring some fragment of that other half of who I am, some shred of light into the depths. It might be a memory of what it feels like to fall in love at first sight. It might be a memory of a kiss that took my breath away. In a world of the soul, I was set loose from the world of the ego. This is how the chain of forgetfulness is broken. We remember. We remember what joy it is to be human. We remember the light that brings us through our most tragic moments, strength to let it. We remember that we are not just this heartbreak the ego endures. We are also a love that is stronger than death. We are also a soul of love that always seeks to love through us. The soul voice meditation, what helps me remember that I am also a soul? Very much connecting with the true love and the companionship from the affirmations, but also connecting with the balance from the Chakra Wisdom Oracle, where it talked about the man and the woman loving each other, but they were being told that they weren't going to be allowed to live life together. If you look in these pictures, black and white, body and soul, love and beloved. We can't help who we love. Just because you have to walk away from people in your life doesn't mean that you don't love them. It just means that you love yourself enough or distract you or confuse you or whatever the case may be. Love yourself enough to step out in faith. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in your angels, ancestors, spirit guides, and of course the Most High. As always, be grateful for what you have, the big, the small, and the blessings yet to come. Because as we all know, it could all be gone in the blink of an eye. If you see a need out there today, tomorrow, next week, if there's any possible way that you can fill that need, please do so. You may not only better their day, but you could possibly change their life. And you never know the impact that it could have on yours. And something else I wanted to point out that I just noticed with these 4 cards from the nature deck, you have light energy. See how the sun's shining? It's well lit. And then you have dark energy. Light and dark, day and night, opposites attract. Don't hold yourself in a form. You know, if you want to touch your water to something new, something unknown, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to embrace your shadow side. We saw out here today about shadow work. And I saw a video the other day where the guy was saying, I'm not a nice guy, I'm a good guy. And sometimes being the good person means you have to be mean. You can't always be the nice guy. Sometimes you have to embrace that inner darkness and let it come out to play. Not necessarily in a negative way, but in a constructive way. All right, as always, be blessed, find peace, and I'll see you next time.